Yeah, I'm just starting a YouTube video, just fucking fuck it. I got a lot of shit on my mind, and I'm working on it and trying to be less of an opinionated person, but God, there's so many things in the world to hate right now. Not a lot of stuff to like. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has been it's a cultural phenomenon at this point. There's been a lot of talk about it with the whole IMAX screening, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this. I don't care about IMAX. My burgers are done. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna start it off with saying that IMAX isn't something that I am interested in. For someone that likes movies, if someone likes to see movies regularly, I think it's an odd reason to see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Now, Christopher Nolan, this is a biased take because I don't like the stuff he puts out. I think that Christopher Nolan in every movie that he's done since Batman has been the closest thing to trying to reach perfection in cinema, and I think it is the gold standard. But I think we're a place where art exists. The gold standard should not exist, or shouldn't be a gold standard for any artistic output. Instead of IMAX, instead of making the screen bigger, instead of seeing more of the frame, this new aspect ratio, I think it's much more interesting to have a stylistic look to your film instead of just having a gorgeous actor in front of a 35 millimeter lens behind a blue background in every movie. It's just the movies he puts out try to become the most perfect thing. We have multiple A-list actors in this movie. Every side character that you see, you know everyone in this movie. Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, Tom Holland. You get Travis fucking Scott. You got as many people in there as possible, and to the point where you're doing it because of cinema. You're not doing it because of cinema. Cinema is such a stupid word now, especially how Martin Scorsese, for example, uses it, because apparently superhero movies can't be cinematic. They're not cinema. Everything is done for the service of the word cinema, and no one even knows what it means anymore. Like, the cinematic experience to me is the subject matter. It was the story, it was the characters, it was how the film looked, if it had grain, if it didn't. And every single Christopher Nolan movie I've seen, it's been like, hey, it's a good thing you're watching this movie. It's Christopher Nolan and it looks good. And it's like it's basically like Dunkirk with a different story. And that is his style, but I don't get why it's like Christopher Nolan is like the Taylor Swift of movies. Like, Taylor Swift is probably the most basic artist that you can actually follow. She's a billionaire. She has multiple eras. There's people that know exactly, like, she has a huge fan base, and I think the male version of that is Christopher Nolan, and I think it's too much. He needs to be criticized to a certain point, which, like, why are so many people wanting to see The Odyssey? I have no interest because it just looks good. That's it. I don't care what story you have in there. No one's going for that. People are going to see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey because it's Christopher Nolan. Because if you truly like movies, you have to see this in IMAX. And it's just weird. IMAX also just leads us to a more perfect state where you have to pay more to see something because of how perfect it is. For example, like what Timothy Chalamet was trying to say was a lot of people will, instead of going to see man-made movies, instead of seeing what is classified as art, why spend $30 on a ticket to see an IMAX screening when you can watch a fully AI generated movie for $8? Movies to be able to see in the theater will be so much cheaper than seeing an actual movie, because more people will just want to see the AI. Like, that's how they're going to fucking get us. That is the clear identifier of how they're going to try to kill movies, is make AI movies cheaper to see, because they're cheaper to make, so they make them cheaper. So it's like, I have no choice, I'm going to watch the AI one. So making IMAX, making it the centerfold of your movie, is just pushing it towards being a more dystopian future where AI is just going to be easier to see because it's cheaper. That's the problem with working towards perfection. It happens with everything. It happens with houses. It happens with music. It happens with buying anything. The higher quality it gets, the more expensive it's going to get. And the moment that someone finds a way to make something cheaper, like AI, most of the population, which is struggling right now for leisure, isn't going to get the $30 ticket to get Christopher Nolan's IMAX screening. That's just not going to happen. Even me, even people, anyone, is not going to spend that amount of money to see a human-made film. At some point, people are going to get an AI movie ticket and movies will be done. IMAX is working towards perfection. We can't go there. We need mistakes. We need grittiness. We need the human nature back. Therefore, stop with the IMAX. I don't care about it. I'm going to get angry. Christopher Nolan being held to such a high standard that all his movies just look perfect, bland. It looks clear. It looks pristine. And I don't want that. I want gritty. I want to see sweat on the characters. I want a dark background. I want drama. And that doesn't exist within most of his movies. Like, don't get me wrong here, okay? I'm not, like, I can give him respect when it's due. He hates AI. Love it. Great. The movies he puts out are good. You're going to sit down and watch them, and you're going to discuss with friends afterwards. But it's not enough to actually say, this has changed my life. Like, for example, The Black Phone 2 was not received too well. The Black Phone was a great movie. I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies around that time. So in The Black Phone 2, they used Super 8 film for the dream sequences, which means you can tell that it's a dream because of how low quality it is. But that's a stylistic choice. It made the film look different. In fact, I was more taken aback by that choice than ever seeing something big and grand. Like, people talk about the Civil War it's called airport? What the fuck is that so hard to say? The airport scene in Civil War was IMAX. I don't care. Dude, like, the fact that I've heard that, I don't care. Like, there's nothing interesting about, like, IMAX? Back up. You want to see more of the frame? Move the camera back. I don't know what to I don't need to see more sky. I don't need to see more ground. Maybe something like that could be interesting if you did, like, I don't know, The Batman Part 1? Film that in IMAX so I can see the cityscape, so I can see more. But I know for the fact, The Odyssey, half the movie is going to be sea. It's going to be water and sky. And I don't care if it's higher quality. I don't care if it's in 720p. Maybe it's because I grew up, like, downloading movies because we couldn't exactly see them in theaters and we couldn't just buy them on DVD. We had to, like, download them and pirate them. Not me, but people that I knew. But I was okay with seeing these things in low quality. And you shouldn't have to, like, stamp an IMAX sticker on it in order to be like, I can see this movie. Because it's the top of the... it's like Avatar. The movie was good. It was mid. It was an interesting idea. But everyone talked about how... like, trust me, it's way more impactful that a whole new thing was invented for the movie to be a thing. That was interesting, but people didn't watch because it was a commentary on indigenous culture and what happened to it and colonization. People didn't go for that. Honestly, I'm quite sure half the people didn't even realize that's what it's about until like 5 years later when a friend told them. And it's interesting because Christopher Nolan is doing the whole movie in IMAX, but it's the Odyssey. It's a story that's been told countless times, and it's a story that is as old as time. It really does feel like they're trying to reach complete perfection, having A-list actors, the best actors you can possibly have in a movie currently, the best technology currently, the oldest story possible, so there's no risk that people won't like it. It is the most generic possible thing but the advertisement is the actors, and you have to see it. It's IMAX. That's not a good enough reason for someone like me who's loved old films, and I find it very hard to like newer things when they don't try to go against the grain. And Christopher Nolan isn't that type of director. And I can still give him credit. Interstellar is one of the best movies ever made of all time, hands down. I would say probably statistically top 5. Such a good fucking movie. Inception is close, but in terms of all time, doesn't reach it. Tenet, I'm not going to include that for him. I'm sure he just had a stomach ache. But basically, the reason why I'm making this video is I just want to make sure that you know you don't have to see the movie if you don't want to. Just maybe spend money on an independent film that you're seeing or something interesting that's in the theaters at that time. I think that there's been a lot of interesting films that have been released. I love Boosters, which I am dying to see. Guess what? Because it looks stylistic and interesting. It's an interesting concept that we haven't seen before. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch a man lost at sea for 3 hours. The Irishman. Let's talk about the fucking Irishman. Choosing to make a movie about Oppenheimer and making the entire plot about it being wrong to make the nuclear bomb that killed millions of people is like making a 3-hour-long movie about who came up with the idea that 1 + 1 = 2. I already know. I don't need 3 hours to be told, like, I killed so many people. I'm sorry, Oppenheimer, but you killed a lot of people. If you didn't know that it sucks before, you're kind of a piece of shit regardless. And it's like, you can quote whatever bullshit about God or whatever, dude, but you're fucked, man. You're a fucking asshole. Christopher Nolan needs to find a concept that is otherworldly and interesting. It's because at first I was like, oh, he's finally doing something different. He's doing the Odyssey. You know, it's like a bit mythical. You got the was it Cyclops? You got fucking cyborgs. I don't fucking know. Yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling. Go see an interesting movie that you like, not because someone tells you to, or online tells you to. IMAX is just another marketing thing that they can say you should watch this movie because yes, even though it's a small percentage of the population, more people will see it if it says IMAX. Same with how much money they're going to make because of all the different actors that they have. They have a lot of fucking actors who've been in main roles, playing supporting characters. It's weird. This movie, The Odyssey, would not exist if it wasn't for the amount of reasons to see the movie. I got bit by a bug and it's very bad. Yeah, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a guy with a boner. Bye.